And so I think there's this very strange phenomenon in Silicon Valley where a lot of the most talented startups, a lot of the great startups, seem to be run by people who are suffering from a mild form of Asperger's. And I think we need to always turn this fact around and view this as an indictment of our whole society.
If you're less sensitive to social cues, then you're less likely to do the same thing as everyone else around you. Don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, don't forget to double tap the dislike button and gently tap the like button. Okay, today we're going to talk about a personal story. Now the aim of this story is not to drag the video length over 10 minutes so I can play more ads. I repeat, the aim of this story is not to drag the video length over 10 minutes so I can play more ads. The aim of this story is not to manipulate your emotions so I can increase my sociopath score and rank higher in the YouTube algorithm. The aim of this story is... okay, you get the point.
Hello, please leave a message after the tone.
Hi there, it's the YouTube algorithm here. We'd just like to remind you to refrain from using profanity as it may upset our advertisers. We hold our advertisers to the highest ethical standards, so we want to ensure that they have the best environment possible. Thank you very much.
Just give me some truth. No short head, yellow bellied son of trick. Come on, you cunts. Or we'll have veal fucking stroganoff. In my heart. Oh, fucking hell, what's that, Nick? Well, like, don't start changing fucking reels in the middle of a take. How do you sleep, you cunt?
In his book 0 to 1, Peter Thiel and co-founder Blake Masters write, "The hazards of imitative competition may partially explain why individuals with an Asperger's-like social ineptitude may seem to be as an advantage in Silicon Valley today. If you're interested in making things or programming computers, you'll be less afraid to pursue those activities single-mindedly, and therefore become incredibly good at them. Then, when you apply your own skills, you're a little less likely than others to give up your own convictions. This can save you from getting caught up in the crowds competing for obvious prizes."
Fitzgerald describes other characteristics he sees in geniuses with Asperger's.
They have very narrow interests. They're completely obsessed with something, and they stay with it, until they win a Nobel Prize.
I think there is a lot of independent evidence that Newton did push himself to the limit continuously, and that he did indeed engage in this kind of distracted behaviour. And he was capable of being utterly tunnel-visioned and obsessed.
In the 1990s, a movement called neurodiversity started to gain traction. Rather than approaching autism, dyslexia, and other psychological profiles as pathologies that need to be cured, neurodiversity considers them to be different forms of intelligence. Therefore, rather than being a liability, something like Asperger's could be an asset in certain cases.
He was quite suspicious, paranoid, cruel, sadistic, but then he had this enormous capacity to hyper-focus, enormous capacity to ask fundamental questions, and the ability to do experiments and to persist with a question until he came up with an answer. I'm 100% sure that Isaac Newton had Asperger's syndrome.
In the language of neurodiversity, someone who doesn't have autism is called neurotypical. Those with high-functioning autism have prodigious memories for facts and are capable of focusing for long periods on tasks that take advantage of their natural gift for detecting flaws in visual patterns. By autistic standards, the normal human brain is easily distractible, is obsessively social, and suffers from a deficit of attention to detail. Many have speculated that in certain contexts, neurotypical people are at a disadvantage compared to high-functioning autists, especially those who have an obsessive focus, a lack of empathy, and a disdain for social norms.
Hi, that's me. I go, and so I took the book out to my ex-wife. I said, I read this, and she read it. I think I have Asperger's, and she said, "You do." Not you do, but she said, "You do." I said, "How would you know that?" She said, "Well, when we were having dinner with Bill Gates and Melinda, and that was like 5 years before, at a Duke reunion fundraiser at his home. She said, we were sitting at the table, and I looked at Gates, and I looked at you, and I looked at Gates, and I looked at you. I said, you were doing exactly the same thing at the same time. Your mannerisms were all the same." And so I had heard that he had Asperger's in a mild form.
They took their experience and actually prepared And so they moved a lot faster. So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is, will get attention this time.
And so I did go to a psychiatrist, and in the first meeting, at the end of it, just threw it. I said, "Do you think I have Asperger's?" And she said, "Oh yeah."
Oh, yeah! Fitzgerald also believes that Albert Einstein and Charles Darwin showed signs of Asperger's syndrome.
His father, many years ago, right after we met, had a group of about 20 write down on a sheet of paper one word that they thought accounted for their success. And Bill and I, who may only met twice, didn't know what the other one was writing down. We both wrote down the same word, which was focus.
In my opinion, there is definitely something here. Many of the tech billionaires do appear to have some form of Asperger's, or at the very least could be described as neuroatypical, or maybe they're just high-functioning sociopaths, or even psychopaths. There is also something to be said about the fact that humans are tribal in nature. Therefore, just like people go to a concert to see their favourite musician, or go to watch their favourite sports team, and congregate in groups with similar interests, those with Asperger's with an intense obsession in technology tend to end up in the same place, in recent decades that place being Silicon Valley, in order to be with their tribe, so to speak. What are your thoughts? Comment below.
Because what does it say about our society when anyone who does not suffer from Asperger's, who is socially well adapted, will be talked out of all of their original creative ideas before they're even fully formed, who will sense this is a little bit too weird, that's a little bit strange, that sounds a little bit crazy, people are looking at me in a weird way. And I think this is something that we must all realize is sort of a deeply endemic problem.